Good evening guys and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to see all my latest content and previous videos as well, some really good ideas coming up. I hope you enjoyed my previous video about whether I think slow play is actually hindering golf in any way, shape or form. If you haven't seen that, again, go check that out on my channel. And yeah, let's move on to my next rant, shall we? So, rant number 2. And I'd just like to say before, like a fellow YouTuber who's a lot bigger than me, may I add, this is my opinion. My opinion. Not fact, my opinion. Now, as you have seen, early start of this year, brands such as TAYLORMADE have come out with some absolutely amazing comments and marketing kind of quotes about their new drivers. As they always do, every brand does it, it's not just TAYLORMADE, but I'm going to use TAYLORMADE as an example. And are they running out of ideas? You know, I've recently been into a golf shop and kind of spoke to a few people about it. I'm not going to say the golf shop, I'm not going to name names at all, but previously I've gone into golf shops, spoke to them about the new technology in the golf club, just to see if it works or not. And you know what? It's pretty sad. They couldn't actually give me an answer. All they did was tell me what TAYLORMADE are telling me. And that was just, oh, they've made it illegal. They've had to inject some special gel to slow it down to make it legal, but it's the fastest they'll ever get it. Now, if you'd have seen reviews such as Rick Shields, Crossfield, Peter Finch, I don't know if he's done a review on it, but he plays with them, you'll kind of see it's not made that much difference. There is actually a video, and I'll put the link in my description to his channel. It's Rick Shields' video about the progression of TAYLORMADE drivers, I think it is, in 10 years. It's really worth going to watch because there's actually not a lot of difference. And I speak to quite a few people about this, obviously, with what I do, or what I did, sorry, when I worked in the golf centre. It's really interesting how people get sucked into the marketing, and it's a really clever tool. Not going to criticise TAYLORMADE or Callaway or Titleist for what they do, because it sells golf clubs. My question is whether it actually works, whether it's just kind of a placebo effect, which I think it kind of is. I'll use myself as an example. I've actually played with like 3 different drivers in the last year. Started TAYLORMADE, Strixon and Callaway. And my carry distances have gone up by maybe 5 yards, if that. And they're all kind of fairly different generations of golf club. I would say I've probably not got longer because of the club. I've got longer because I've changed technique. And I've managed to generate more power from technique rather than golf club, which is obviously not what they're saying. You know, marketing and companies and brands are saying you'll get faster, you'll get longer with golf clubs. So things like the irons, for instance, yes, you will get longer because they do something called changing the loft. That's all they do. Like you've seen in Mark Crossfield's videos and things like that, they change loft. That's all they do with irons, just to make them go further. That's not because they've put in some special speed foam in it. They're going longer because the 7-iron is playing like a 6-iron in loft. It's as simple as that, sadly. Now, do I think this is good? I think it's good for the brands. I don't necessarily it's good for the players or the amateur's bank account, which, again, it's up to the player at the bottom line whether they want to get sucked into it or not. But my opinion, again, my opinion, is that they don't really work. They're lovely drivers, they're lovely looking drivers, they perform well. I'm not saying they're bad drivers, they do perform really well. And I've played M1, R15s, TAYLORMADE, so I'm a massive TAYLORMADE fan, always have been, and I've loved the stuff they do. I've played TAYLORMADE irons, putters, the lot, love them. But has the club really improved my game? I would say no. I had lessons heavily last winter, changed clubs in between that as well, and I wouldn't say the golf club actually made that much of a difference. Again, like people like Mark Crossfield, Dan Hendrickson, Coach Lockie, Rick Shields have all kind of said is 90% of it is down to what you guys are doing. And I would always recommend getting a lesson over spending 500 quid on a new driver. To me, it doesn't seem logical to, if you've got last year's model, especially at the rate that they bring golf clubs out, I think it's just crazy. I don't think it's justifiable to spend that much on a new club or new set of clubs every 6 months. I think it's crazy, and I think sometimes, or it's getting to the point now where brands are going to go, well, what do we do next? And I think that's where brands are going to shoot themselves in the foot in the near future, because How far can they go with this? They've now turned around and said they can't get any more distance. TaylorMade have tried it, Titleist have tried it, that's fine. Then now TaylorMade especially are now saying the face can't get any quicker. Well, that's great, but where do they go from there? You know, it's what's the next progression? What are they going to say to you next? Because they've gone, they can't miss a fairway, which is questionable. And I'll go back to that in a minute because there's a very good point with this twist face thing, and I want to make you very aware of it. But back to the point originally, where do we go? Because can't miss a fairway. The face is as quick as it's ever been and will ever be because it's illegal otherwise. You're not missing fairway. You can't, it's just crazy. You know, how far will they go? Next thing you know, they'll be saying it's digitalised. You know, and the club will swing for you. It'll automatically be a weight in a system where it's, you know, where will it go? It just becomes a little bit silly. But we'll go back to my my previous comment regarding twist face very quickly. They turn around and said, and if you actually watch the promotional videos on TaylorMade, they're really clever because obviously they've got their players that play the club. They obviously play well with the club. It's not a bad club. I'm just saying that maybe the technology is bigged up more than it should be. This whole twist face thing is a massive example of that, and it's been very, very controversial, would you say, in kind of reviews? Now my question is this. If you look at the Pro Tour, so DJ, Jason Day, Justin Rose at the time, I know he's gone to Homner now, McIlroy, who's the other one? John Rahm. Would you say, looking at McIlroy especially, he has got any more accurate than when he was playing with the M2, I believe it was, than to what he's now playing with the M3? I would actually say no. I can't see any difference between what he was like in terms of fairways hit a couple of years ago compared to what he is now with twist face. I haven't seen a difference, which kind of proves my point. It's down to the player, and that's someone at the top of the game. So I think that just kind of proves the point that the technology is great, makes the driver perform well, but doesn't quite do what they say it does. So on the right hand side you'll see Rory McIlroy's figures for 2014, where he won his 2 majors that year. He's on 59.9% of fairways hit with his Nike Vapor driver. Now you compare that to last season and this season. Here he's on 55.7%, where brands will turn around and say to you that their golf clubs are better and that they're performing better. He's actually 4% down, 4.2% down back compared to 4 years ago, where he played with an old Nike driver, yet twist face is in play. This proves my point, guys. Does it really do anything? But there's always two sides of an argument. So if you play with any of these drivers like Callaway Rogue, Titleist TS2, TS3, whatever it is, M3, M4, M5, M6, whatever it is, I want to hear from you, because if it works for you then, and it's actually improved your game, then I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to see what it's done in terms of increased your ability. Have you had lessons with that? One thing I will say is no matter what driver you get, go and get a fit in, because up until last year I didn't realise how important it was to get fitted. It's helped me massively, especially with things like driver. It's so important. Go and get fitted, because that's where you'll produce bigger numbers, is when the club is fitted towards you. Buying them off the shelf is okay, but you know, what's the point? Is surely you'd want to go and spend, if you're going to spend 500 quid on a driver, go and spend it and get it tailored to you for nothing extra. It makes sense to do that, because then you're performing to the best of your ability with that club, rather than you having to adjust to the club the other way around. So that's one thing I will always say. If you get one of these drivers, or get any club, go and get fitted for it, because that is the underlining point, is it's you that does the work in the club, not the other way around. So guys, again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I say, I'd love to hear from you, to see if you actually agree with me or whether you disagree. This is all about being interactive, these kind of chats, so I'd love to hear from you. Comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon.